Okay, so now we're going to go over erosion. And erosion is probably the coolest part of all this. I'm going to go ahead and put this down to 0 and hit apply. Or you know what? I'm going to remove. Okay, there we go. So now we're back to normal, right? Now we're going to go ahead and hit erode. Now there's a few different erosion types. I'm going to show you what the canyon does. It's going to take a little bit because it's going to smooth it as well, which I wasn't planning on doing, but that's okay. So you can see that it just did something, right? You don't know what it did, but it did something. It just took all these. Number one, this is the canyon right here. Doesn't look great. I'm not going to lie. It does not look great. It looks like somebody just took a V and placed it there and said, everything in this is going to get cut. It's okay. So that's what the canyon does. And what smooth does is it takes all your peaks and valleys and just kind of smooths them out. Takes all the neighbors, brings them up, and brings them down a little bit. Right? So that's canyon. Rain sounds exactly right. I'm going to turn off smooth amount so you guys can actually see what this does. So rain just puts kind of like holes. It's like if you think about it this way, it's like a meteorite hitting the earth and it's creating puddles. So the more you do it, the bigger it gets. Now, droplets are how many are generated each time you hit a road. Solubility is essentially how deep those droplets are. Erosion amount is how much it erodes through, so how big the radius can get. Erosion strength is how many there are, and this all depends on what you're in. Like, for example, thermal, right? Thermal is just going to take all the hills and valleys and kind of bring them down to the bottom. So you can see here in this lake, you can see kind of how there's like a little line that's forming. If I hit that again, should continue, right? You can see like everything's starting to go up and down and it's becoming a little bit more steep. That's what thermal does. Now, if I show you tidal is going to do exactly what you think it's going to do. Typically, what it does is it makes this line a little bit more apparent. And so you know how waves will hit against sand and like pull it in? That's exactly what this does. So river is not at all what it sounds like. River is not an actual river. What it does is it does pretty much the same thing as rain, except when you add smooth to it, you can see that it makes it a little bit nicer. And then you have wind. Wind is almost the same as erode, except what it does is it just makes it a little bit more jagged. And as you guys can see, like, this does not look great right now, but I'll hit smooth terrain. I'm going to drop it down. I'm going to bring the smooth up to 7. It's going to take a little bit, and it basically runs the same algorithm 7 times, and now it's nice and smooth, right? So it looks a little bit better. You can see it's a little bumpy now. And that's typically how an actual mountain looks. When you add foliage and stuff, it doesn't look like that. It looks a little bit more flat and natural. But right now, like, there's no foliage in the system. I wish there was, but that's coming out in the next update. And I hope you guys enjoyed this. This is the last tutorial. So now that you guys have seen all this, I want you to go through and mess around with it before you start using this as a rapid prototype. Mess around with it. Seriously, I really recommend messing around with it, because otherwise you're going to go through and when you get a big project and you're like, ooh, I need to use this, or I could use this, and you go to use it, but you can't get anything that you want, you know, this is how you learn it. And go through this again and again and again and see what comes up. Thank you guys for watching. Again, thank you so much for paying for this, and I hope you enjoy the hell out of this software. I enjoy the hell out of it. I make a lot of my games, or a lot of my prototypes with this. So, thank you guys again. Have a wonderful rest of your day.